Trumpeter Mandla Mlangeni and the Amandla Freedom Ensemble are launching their long-anticipated album titled Oratorio of the Forgotten Youth. It's musical reflection on the 1976 student protest and the Fees Must Fall movement. The live concert will take place at the Wits University's Great Hall on the 27th of May. Mandla Mlangeni joins us now in studio ahead of that performance next week, Saturday. He's live with us. Mandla, thank you so much for coming through. I see you even have your trumpet there.
Yes.
So I've already told the viewer that this concert is happening on the 27th of May. That's next week, Saturday. And what I find interesting is that you chose the Great Hall. That's a very significant venue looking at the Fees Must Fall movement.
Definitely, and especially since it also talks to my personal history. My father actually graduated, was a political activist and lawyer, and I was born in 1986 during the state of emergency. So that's when he graduated, and also parallels with the story of the Fees Must Fall and 1976. So bringing that to life on the 27th of May at the Wits Great Hall.
And that's what I was going to come to, actually, the personal attachment that you have to those two events and this album being launched on that particular day.
Yes, and also it speaks to where we find ourselves as South Africans, as the empty promises of our government, and also us needing to actually take a stand and actually speak our truth to power in the guise of music.
All right, tell us more about the album. I see that it's a mixture. It looks like it's going to be a mixture of festivities. It'll be music, it'll be poetry, it'll be art.
Yes, definitely. It's an amalgamation, almost like an opera. But this is an oratorio, and by staging this, we're actually bringing all the elements such as indigenous music. We're also bringing a choir, we're bringing a string quartet, and we're also bringing a sand poet by the name of Tanda Mo Africa. So it's in celebration of African culture, it's a celebration of where we come from and where we actually want to see ourselves.
You talk about Tanda Mo Africa. I understand that there's going to be more. Can you share the names of the people that
Yes, definitely. The Resonant String Quartet is a four-piece string quartet, and also the Vivacious Sounds Choir, all the way from Katlehong, and it will be co-directed by my partner in crime, who's also a scholar and educator by the name of Yonela Mnana, and I'll have the Amandla Freedom Ensemble together with the Brother Moves On. And if you're familiar with the Joburg live music scene, they're a local fixture in every performance.
The Brother Moves On, by the way, is my favorite band.
Then you should definitely come see it.
No, definitely. I was actually telling my boss, Bhavna,
yes.
When she showed me some of your visuals, I was like, you know, this is actually my vibe.
Yes.
This is actually my vibe. I should go there.
And they'll definitely, and more than that, we'll actually have a jam-packed evening, and with poet laureate Leso Kharampulukeng as well, who will be presenting.
Sounds like it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Now, tell me about why you chose that there would be live art experience as well in terms of visual art.
I think the artist that we work with is very good at thinking on his feet. Is a great improviser, and he responds well to the music. I've worked with him for the past couple of years, and that also adds another element, also a visual element where the audiences can also take part in it, not just listening to the music, but also seeing the narration also unfold, coupled with both the poetry and the music.
Now, I have to ask you this question, you know, besides the fact that next week is going to be, you know, a celebration of being African. The African child, and I'm sure you had pressure from your dad being a political activist and lawyer back then. You had pressure from your dad to understand the consciousness of the black child, right? And you look at what's happening today, and the things that your dad and others fought for those years ago have still not been realized today. That's why you still have things like Fees Must Fall. Yes, students are not killed, not like that in any case, but you still have people having to fight for things that we thought we won in 1994.
Yes. And I think it also speaks to that the broken promises and what we as a collective can do to actually highlight that message. Not just the pressure of my father, but the pressure amongst the illiteracy rate. I mean, we've been hearing news about about illiteracy in South Africa, and also us making occupying the spaces that should be occupied. I mean, imagine the challenges of having this kind of work being performed in South African spaces in this day and age, and actually also speaking to opening up the cultural sector, opening up the educational sector, incorporating music and arts practitioners to actually be educators, and actually opening up the environment also to have different forms of enterprise as well. Not just universities should be the centers of education. We also think skills centers as well, skills focus centers for teachers and the likes. And I think that's something that we should actually develop and actually encourage.
Well, your event sort of speaks to eNCA's new identity. So we are asking people now, the viewers, to question, think and act. So obviously you've thought of an event, you're going to act, but what would you say was your question when you thought of doing something that commemorates 1976 and bring it all the way to the 2000s, where people are still fighting for this, well, very similar issue?
It's a sense of social justice, and that much of that hasn't been spoken to. Much of the victims of apartheid haven't been reconciled and haven't been acknowledged, and also speaks to the truth where we actually find ourselves in this day and age, and actually also almost like a comparative review of what happened in 1976. You saw the government assault the students, and also speaks to Marikana, what happened in Marikana. We also saw state power at force there. We're also now coming in this day and age where state power also doesn't acknowledge our dignity as people, you know, and then even with this load shedding crisis, with everything that's happening. So we're giving voice to that.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll listen to. I'm going to ask you to just stay with us so that you can just perform for us just after a short break we're about to take us out on 1 o'clock. Oh, thank you very much. I've got an album.
The small present.
Thank you very much. I'll play this. It's going to be my part. Well, that's it from myself and the All Angles team for this edition of All Angles. It will be back, of course, again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Coming up is the latest episode of the Best of Power to Truth with Professor JJ Tabane. I'm going to leave you with Mandla Mlangeni's performance. Of course, he will be just giving us a snippet of some of the things that he will be playing next week, Saturday, at the Wits Great Hall.
Good.